Welcome, age of vintage society. Linda Darnell, like every other beautiful Hollywood actress, had some backstories that fans will remember any time her name is mentioned. The good, the shameful, and unfortunately the ugly. But in all, she emerged victorious within her brief acting career, from a life of heavy drinking to failed marriages, plus imperious relationships that threatened her personality and career. Why Linda Darnell's husband wanted to sell her to a tycoon. I want you to know, my viewers, how much I appreciate your generous support on Patreon and your activity on the channel. These videos would not have been possible without you. Big thanks to those who watched the video until the end. Who was Linda Darnell, and why is her name worthy of our attention this time? She is a lovely American actress who started as a child performer and was dearly loved by fans, amidst prettiness and her innocent face. Like many of her kind who entered the entertainment scene at a tender age, she was encouraged and well prepared by her lovely mother for a career journey she began from modelling and metamorphosed into full-time acting on stage and later to movies. After her film debut in 1939, her innate talent was promising, as she soon took part in big-budget films as a supporting character. Co-starring with Tyrone Power in some adventure movies, Linda took a step further to elevate her status as a leading lady after her much-praised role in Forever Amber. Linda was a very stable talent, growing at each stage of her career and getting the right attention and critique, especially with her role in Unfaithfully Yours and A Letter to Three Wives. Her early career stardom, however, had some ups and downs, maybe personality issues and some unfortunate situations. We saw Linda battling with alcoholism, love and relationship that threatened her growing career. Though her career was short-lived, Linda did leave an evergreen legacy with several movie roles from the 1940s up to the 1950s, before her tragic end in regrettable circumstances. Some tales about the difficulties Linda had to go through ended positively, but others would not. Entering Hollywood with so much enthusiasm, little Linda soon learned the other side of the celebrity lifestyle, the ugly side, I must say, and very dangerous for her kind of personality. Well, she took the challenges as they came and tried her best to live above the shameful personal issues, but it seemed no matter how hard she tried, achieving personal happiness appeared like a luxury. Just when everyone was hoping that things will turn around for this pretty-faced talent, Linda met a horrific end that would not be easily forgotten. I also learned that she was married 3 times, but the first man in her life had a different mission because he tried selling Linda to a tycoon for his selfish interest. Then the subsequent marriages were not better either, as they all hit the rock in lamentable ways. Some say issues around her may not be unconnected with what she passed through as a child, growing up in a poisonous environment with troublesome parents. Described as the girl with the perfect face, Linda Darnell was raised in a large family of 6 kids, with what I would describe as a confused parent. Coming into marriage with 2 children from a previous marriage, her mother Margaret Pearl Brown begat 4 more kids with Linda Darnell's father, Calvin Roy Darnell. Expectedly, it was a very contentious atmosphere for young Linda, who was a very shy girl, beautiful and talented. This is also what her mother saw as she tried her best to push her into the entertainment scene, where she felt that her personality would flourish best. There were reports that at some point Linda's mother became so determined to make a movie success out of her little daughter that she was ready to do anything in that regard, even if it meant ignoring her other kids. Though young Linda had her idea, but was too young to decide for herself. This might just be what Linda reflected later in life when she told fans that she had no talent to become a movie star and never wanted to be one but for her mother, who was obsessed with having her in the movies. Critics think that Linda Darnell by that made a self-indictment to her wonderful career, and possibly the reason she has to go through the unpleasant situation in a flamboyant career she never dreamt of creating for herself. She was born in Texas and grew up as a special child, no thanks to her mother, who denied her certain childhood privileges because of her interest, as she was often seen in the studio learning acting and never truly socialized with her mates, in school and in the neighborhood. Her siblings said she enjoyed fame. A diction teacher once talked about Darnell not being particularly good in many areas of acting, but for her cuteness and considerate nature, which helped in her theatre performance. She wasn't outstanding, but her mother was right behind her, the teacher said. Due to huge family needs and poor financial status, her mother had brought her out when Linda Darnell was 11, the year she started modelling, trying her luck in several beauty contests, and by the time she was 13 she was already a full-time stage performer. Still on her mother's aggressive ambition, Darnell was hauled into a Hollywood studio at the age of 14, so she could start appearing in movies, but unbelievably, the supposed corrupt Hollywood studios thought she was still very young at the time. A year later, when she returned to Hollywood for screen performances, her unfortunate career journey had started. Her education at Sunset High School, before heading to Hollywood, was without much childhood flavour because she spent much of her free time with her mother at home or in the Dallas Little Theatre, where she was cast in the Southwestern premiere of Murder in the Cathedral in 1936. Linda in Hollywood was set to become a silver screen siren, and she was favoured with an early breakthrough with her first film appearance, Hotel for Women, as she joined the class of Hollywood starlets through the role that was initially billed for Loretta Young. It seemed the studio found a cheaper talent in her and dropped Young, who was demanding a higher bill. Her outing was remarkable, with the media praising her as the newest Hollywood sensation, even though she had one more issue yet to be fixed: her age. At the age of 15, Darnell was still considered by producers as too young for the sensitive role she was applying for, and it was working against her progress. So she raised her age by 2, and the studio added an extra 2. They advertised her as 19-years-old girl, which also contributed to her problems. Beyond her career, Linda was so beautiful that men winked at her amazing loveliness. No wonder she was a choice companion for men, as they take turns following her around, and not surprising that she got entangled with several men that would later contribute to her worse. While on set for the production of Stardust, she began romantic affairs with teenage hero Mickey Rooney. That relationship was brief. Before then there was James Jorba, who was a childhood love that she dated while in high school. In what seemed like a happy reunion, she met Jorba once more while filming Blood and Sand, but it was a different ballgame for Jorba, who felt he was not capable of marrying a celebrity lady, so that romance ended. At some point we heard that she was involved romantically with her promotional manager Alan Gordon. The gossip was that she did a double wedding by marrying him. The credibility of the talks could not be ascertained, as they turned out to be false. While discussing issues concerning Linda and her love life, names like Eddie Albert, George Montgomery, Kay Kaiser, Jackie Cooper, and many others will naturally come up, because there was always a rumour of her hanging out with these men at different times. She was such a beauty that almost every man was happy to identify with her. It was Kirk Douglas who wrote in his memoir that he was unfaithful to his wife because of Linda, as he had an affair with her. A day came in her life when she learned something dreadful about herself. She discovered that she would not be able to get pregnant, since she never had a menstrual cycle, even at the age of 18. The news was so frustrating for young Linda that she sought ways to get over the shock to no avail. Her situation inclined towards depression, as she found comfort in heavy alcohol drinking, though she kept sealed lips about it, of course, for an obvious reason. Sometime in 1943, Linda shocked friends, family and colleagues when she eloped with Peveril Marley, a 42-year-old cameraman. When she was just 19, almost everyone thought that her behaviour was wrong and would not approve of their marriage. Some people say that Linda took Marley more like a father rather than a lover. Even Zanuck, her Fox boss, was not happy about the marriage, as he jealously placed her on suspension. Then, just as that was happening, Marley did not help matters, as he was said to have badly influenced her with wicked habits. Linda became a heavy drinker, which affected her negatively. Under his regrettable influence, Linda Darnell developed drinking complications and even added weight. Those who knew her noticed the unbelievable change that she was going through. She began to lose her temper at the slightest provocation against her initial well-mannered behaviour. Thankfully, those circumstances did very little against her career, because it rather took a different dimension as she became very free with her movies and was soon cast for a femme fatale role that she executed perfectly. Though her expanded figure still appeared very attractive, that the likes of Howard Hughes became interested in her. She may have smitten the movie mogul as the two went into romantic affairs during the latter part of 1945. At some point in their relationship, Linda confirmed that she was into an affair with Hughes, and noted also that she was leaving Marley. The truth was that she fell in love with the very powerful Hughes and was ready to switch over so he could marry her. There was also a report that Marley tried to strike a deal with Hughes to sell Linda over to him, but Linda wanted something more honourable with Hughes. Passing successfully through an image laundering with Summer Storm, Linda appeared in diverse film roles, including westerns, and getting more daring about her love life. Her romance with Hughes attracted the sympathy of the likes of Ann Miller, who advised her against placing her hope on a notorious womanizer like Hughes, with his terrible dating history, having passed through the road herself. But her advice did not quite sink into Darnell, as she was blinded by the love that would cause her more shame than just heartbreak. Not too long, Hughes ended the relationship suddenly, even as she had concluded her plan to divorce Marley and marry Hughes, and had made it public that she was separated from Marley. Sooner fans heard that Darnell had disgracefully returned to her husband, and was said to have moved back to Marley's home at the beginning of 1947. They also publicised their reconciliation. The following year they adopted a blonde baby girl that they named Charlotte Mildred, also known as Lola. About 2 months after the couple made the adoption public, Darnell for the first time told the world that she is having difficulty giving birth, and that it is very painful to a woman than childbirth itself. She was so sincere with her new sense of family life that she arranged to meet the biological mother of her adopted daughter, and the two met. Later in life, Lola talked about Darnell as one who was always honest about her real mother, and thought of her as one who was like a true mother. Those close to Darnell, especially her family, supposed that Marley was Lola's real father. That was, however, not an issue for Darnell, who wanted to show motherly love, regardless of whose child it is. She treated Lola like a precious child, and said that she would let her know how dear a child she is to her. She even discarded the term adopted in describing her, preferring to say the chosen child, and hinted at their plan to also adopt a boy, but that would not be because Linda was not true with illicit romance. Linda soon fell in love with Joseph Mankiewicz, who directed A Letter to Three Wives. It was said that Marley advised her to consider the fate of their adopted child while trying to switch love allegiance, though Mankiewicz was also not willing to divorce his wife for her. While still in marriage, Darnell's taste for different men continued, even as her illicit romance with Mankiewicz extended to 6 years. She later said Mankiewicz was the love of her life, even when Mankiewicz did not agree that the relationship existed. All of that may have caused Darnell a lot of sadness that even led to depression, as the relationship with Mankiewicz ended. After a reported love life with actor Dick Paxton and director Giuseppe Amato, Darnell decided to tie the marital knot with Philip Liebman in 1954. But that union was more of a business arrangement than conventional marriage, to serve their different interests. While Linda needed financial support, Liebman needed married attached to his name. The union was a loveless marriage, but Linda needed the financial support that also helped the charity organisation that she started. Did they also adopt a baby named Alfreda? Yes, perhaps to save their marriage, but it still ended sooner for the same loveless reason. Linda was searching for emotional support and comfort at this time. The reason she went into another marriage in 1957 with a pilot identified as Merle Roy Robertson, the kind of affection that she was looking for may not be what she was getting, as she increased her heavy drinking habit and was said to have gone even deeper into a depression that later led to therapy. After that, she felt better. But that marriage ended in 1963 when she accused him of having a child with a Polish actress. That separation left her with reasonable monthly alimony. Then, in 1965, Linda Darnell was reported dead from a fire injury sustained when a house she was relaxing in at Glenview caught fire. It was painfully reported that she was viewing her 1940 film Stardust when the inferno started. Linda Darnell's mother was obsessed with her daughter and fame. What were the tragic consequences of Britt Ekland's beauty obsession? Watch this video.